Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim, and I wanted to come on and show you a few things that I've done. I wish I really would have thought about it. I should have made these into videos, but a lot of what I do as well is I do a lot of fermenting. I love fermenting different things. So I wanted just to show you just a few things that I do. So for the first thing is that I make my own apple cider vinegar, and it's very easy to make. A lot of people don't realize that yes, you can buy the Brags in the grocery store, and it's pretty good. And I'll use that if push comes to shove, or I'm in a pinch or anything like that. So recently, I just moved from across the country. And so a lot of my fermenting products that I had, or I had to throw away because they weren't going to keep with the movers. And so I had to start all over. So today is the day that I decided to go ahead and start all over and get everything going. I like my own apple cider vinegar. Like I said, Bragg's is really good, but you can make this and make this with the mother as well. It doesn't take a lot. So this is simply just some apples. I know a lot of people say, that you should have organic apples and things of that nature. I personally don't always use organic. I sometimes do. Sometimes I'll go to the farmer's market, but I don't always use organic. What I do is I take some baking soda and I do mix it with vinegar, though people say you shouldn't, but I do. And I give it a really good bath, and I do a lot of scrubbing of the skin to get that wax layer off, or I'll just go ahead and peel the wax layer off. But this time what I've chosen to do is this is just typically, this is just 3 apples. A lot of times I make a big batch like this, or I'll make a big batch to go into my carboy like this. And typically this is usually what I normally use. But I just started off small this time because I'm still trying to figure out like the temperature in this home, because I'm in the South now and it's a lot hotter here, and I'm used to the summers not being quite as humid and being able to control, a little bit better. So now I'm having to have my air on crank all the way up. Whereas when I was in Utah, we didn't have air conditioner because we had no humidity, so I didn't need it. So, in Utah, we were in Park City, so it took only approximately 2 weeks, 14 days for this to ferment. Now, when I was fermenting in Delaware, it took typically about 30 days. And even in Chicago, it took typically 30 days. And I fermented every season, because what I do is when I start getting low to when I'm drinking and I get down to 2 cups of my apple cider vinegar, I'll go ahead and start another batch. And that way, and I take shot glasses. And that way I can use a cup of this to start my next batch. So here I just simply cut up the apples. I did take the skin off, but I do have some of the skin in here. Hopefully you can see I have the cores, the skin. I did not put the seeds in because I do tend to think it makes it a little bit more bitter. But it has some of the cores. It has the cores in it. I mean, it has the skins in it, and it has the apples. Typically I use weights. My weights got destroyed. I don't know how and during the move, but I brought some more, and unfortunately the company that I brought them from brought me the wrong size. So they sent me the ones, that was too small, that sank all the way to the bottom. So I like to use weights when I'm fermenting, because that way it holds the fruit down below the actual vinegar. So that way no mold will perform on here, because you have to be careful that you don't have mold as well, because this is apples. It's filtered water or spring water or distilled water and sugar. Now, because I didn't have a starter that I always usually have on my own, I did go to the store and buy a small thing of Bragg's, and I used about a half a cup of the Bragg's to put in here to help jumpstart it. So like I said, when I go to finally strain this, then I'll have this left, and I'll take a cup of this and use it for my next batch, and I'll probably do the same size because I'm the only one to drink this. My husband doesn't drink it. Now, I like to use a cheesecloth because it does require some oxygen. You need some air to go in here. And I just take this off every day, and I stir it up every day. And that also ensures that you don't have any mold that's going to grow. Now, I already started this, and I felt like I just needed a bigger batch. I had started a smaller jar, and then as I was looking at it, I was like, that's not enough. So what I did is I added another apple and a half to it, because initially I only did one apple, 2 cores and the skins, but I only did enough from 1.5 apples. So I decided to add another apple and a half to this to make it 3-4 apples. And I just topped it back off again with some more spring water. So again, I don't do any measurements. I know a lot of people say, you have to measure based off of this many quarts to that many quarts. I don't do it. I've been doing this now for 7 years. So I don't measure. And what I like to do is in about 7 to 10 days, I'll taste it to see if it's to my liking. So I like my apple cider vinegar to be the acidic or the tartness. However, I like it to have a tad bit sweetness to it because I am consuming this. I don't want it to be bitter and unbearable. And like I said, for me, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical expert. So please consult your doctor before taking this. But I like to drink a shot glass every morning on an empty stomach with a glass of water, glass of spring water, and that's what I use to keep my weight down, to keep my gut healthy and things of the nature, which is why I love fermenting. And so I just wanted to show you, unfortunately, because I didn't make it in front of you, and I wish I did turn it into a video. It would have been a nice content video, but unfortunately, I didn't think about it at the time because I had a lot going on. But I have a lot of things here that I've worked on today, and I'm going to show you individually in different videos. But I made, several other fermenting drinks. And like I said, I'll talk about the rest of them in other videos. But right now, I just wanted to basically show you my apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to consider this day 1 again because I did top it off again with some more spring water and some more apples. And so I'm going to let it go again for another 7 days. I do need to put the label on here, apple cider vinegar or AVC, which I accidentally put it on one of my other, I accidentally put it on one of my other jars, so I'm gonna have to move it over, and then I'll put today's date, and I just used a nice little labeler, so I'll always have it, because if I put it on my calendar, I will forget, even with it being on the calendar, but when I see the date every day, it makes it easier, so I'll just put out the label and the date and put it on here. So based off of the temperature in your home will determine how fast it will ferment. And for me, I tend to like to go about 10 days, and then I'll take, sometimes I'll take the fruit out and let it continue to ferment for another couple of weeks. And then sometimes I'll just leave the fruit in it. It is a personal preference. There is no right or wrong way to do it. I know there's a lot of videos out here on YouTube. Some say you have to take the fruit out. Some say you don't. I've done it both ways, and I haven't had any different experience. So, but I just wanted to hop on and make a really quick video showing you that I also, not just juice, but I also like to ferment. Fermenting actually is one of my favorite things to do. So I ferment things such as I make my own cleaning supplies. I like to make my own wine, fruit wine. And I also make other things as well, and I'll show you in the next video. So stay tuned. I'll be right back with another video. I just didn't want to make this one too long. But this is my apple cider vinegar, and I'll bring you on the journey, at least on the journey, so you can see it fermenting. And I just used a little bit of burlap to tie it around because you don't want any fruit flies or anything to get in here. Some people like to put it in a cool, dark place. I just put it on my counter, and I'll put a towel around it to keep the sunlight out of it. So, or don't really get much sunlight, but to keep even the bright lights out of it. But I like to just keep mine on my counter. I don't put it in a dark cabinet or anything like that. But again, thank you. Again, my name is Kim, and come back and see me for my next video.